So, that wasn't the most important video I had to do in a while as far as G4 content goes. Anyway, hey everybody, this is Retrokid Reviews, and, yeah, let's talk about that evil dying tonight. Alright, finally here to do... Oh, come on! I thought we were gonna do the freaking, mommy reviews. What the shit, Retro? Yeah, we kinda... Well, in my case, you lost track of time, didn't you? Look, I get it. I'm sorry that I had to do... last-minute mission, stopping, I don't know, Craven the Hunter, doing some Judgment Day shit, and Krakoa. Look, Retro, I get it, and... Goddamn, is that my splinter? Yeah, look, we're gonna be here all day, so... Yeah, due to a lot of time constraints and the fact that Black Adam's coming out this weekend, you wanna stick around to sit through, I don't know, Scorpion King? Yeah, no thanks. And, why did I have to sit through this movie with you as a makeup, I guess, review? It's currently in theaters, and I just got #1 last weekend on the box office. Okay, good question. Oh, and, what else? This was under Universal. They still have the Hulk. You and Bruce used to fight back in the day, so I thought it'd be kind of cool. That is the most thinly veiled excuse to having a Marvel character here talking about a horror movie character. Like, seriously, how did the DC guys put up with this? Pretty easily. Where does it sound? What the shit? I thought we were doing Michael again. Yeah, next year, dude. Thanks anyway, Jason. Why is he more angrier than me? He comes back from the dead a lot. Wait, really? Not really. Anyway, yeah, so before we get to talking about Halloween Ends, let's get to talking about... Hang on, sorry. I'm all over the place here. Yeah, the biggest elephant in the room, the evil dying tonight itself, yeah, kills. Long story short, I don't really love it as a non-spoilers review in the shorts. Go to that later on in this video. And, yeah, it's pretty much what it was. It was the middle chapter of a trilogy. You could pretty much definitely tell it was. The town hysteria, I thought, was a good concept right up until, yeah, Michael just steamrolled all over that, like, subplot by the end of the movie, which is kind of, unironically a theme again when it comes to Halloween Ends. I'm not kidding. So, before we get to it, I do want to have an honorable mention of a scene I legitimately thought was legitimately good when it comes to not just this movie, but the entire, like, Halloween trilogy, as far as this timeline goes, as far as, like, Universal's ownership. They have amazing banger, like, cold openings. Cards to, like, my first time reviewing this series when 2018's Halloween dropped, and me trying to recreate the cold opening, and it was definitely a lot like that. So, there wasn't really much to recreate in kills, other than Hopper, somehow is still alive. Sorry, I know he had a different cop name in the series, but I also knew him as that one dude from Punisher. Seriously, you just a glutton for provoking, like, Frank to come down here. And didn't he shoot you in the balls once? Yeah, but that was, like, the Ultimates timeline, and Max, and, like, it wasn't even laced in adamantium, and... You're just making up excuses now, you know that, right? No, I'm not. Anyway. Yeah, so why the hell am I even here? Well, I don't know. Me getting photoshopped with a bunch of Halloween characters is always pretty cool. Michael is pretty much the biggest mountain of a guy I could probably take down, other than, I don't know, maybe Jason. And honestly, if anyone does fan films of, like, me versing any, like, horror movie characters, just do me with Jason Voorhees. It makes the most sense. I got enough tracking experience. It's pretty even as far as our Halo vector goes, just saying. So, yeah, so we're gonna talk about Corey or not after that said best 10 minutes. Yeah, Corey, spoilers ahead as far as everybody is concerned. This is actually, yeah, not as bad as Kills, kind of a sequel, but it did get 40 mil in the box office for a reason, and that being pretty much the last 20 minutes, like, I'm gonna be honest, as far as, like, Jamie Lee versus Michael again for the third time, it's the trilogy fight nobody thought would last this long, me included, unless you count for, like, H2O and Resurrection, and, the day I ever do retro reviews for those movies is gonna mean I'm getting desperate for content, as far as being nostalgic around here goes. Namesake aside, yeah, let's get to Corey. Yeah, long story short, if those who remember, I don't know, the actual bad sequels of this franchise, like Season of the Witch, or Curse of Michael Myers, I just did that out of order, I just came back from work, my apologies. Yeah, the whole town is basically trying to be its own new evil. It was trying to, like, cultivate another killer, and Corey kind of counted. as that, and being a Michael-less movie for a good third of the runtime is, I guess, understandable. It time jumps 4 years since 2018's Halloween. Corey's accident with his babysitting ended like the year after Halloween wise, and basically Michael throughout the whole time. And I wish I had time to get the photo of him being literally in the pipe throughout the preceding 4 years, just laying low until somebody wants to be the new guy kind of vibe. Look, as far as like the old like macabre kind of like magic that sometimes Michael has been associated with, if those who remember the Thorn trilogy, you know where I'm going with. In this movie's particular case, there's really no Thorn magic vibes. There's no cult mentality. It just happens. I know it's probably the best they could do. And throughout this whole series, I do want to say, I just want a quick shout out to cast, crew, David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, all their writers, that despite how this ending and the landing looked, it's still, again, leagues better than the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes. Trust me, I wish I had time to do a retro review of those, but yeah, apparently, if you saw my shorts, Rob Zombie might actually had a good movie in him. Wait, what the fuck? Yeah, with monsters no less. And speaking of Universal, another thing I'll probably mention when I get to my Scorpion King review later this week is basically, yeah, Universal really loves dumping stuff onto video long before streaming was a thing. I'll get to that when I get to Scorpion King review. So, I guess final thoughts? Not really much. Again, the whole Corey backstory of him trying to become the new Michael, you have to be there with it, and if not, it's totally understandable. Allison, though, Jamie's sister, granddaughter, trying to have like a natural born killer's kind of romance is kind of weird. Yeah, it just weirdly reminded me of like Laura with her problematic boyfriends. Oh no, not you! No, God, no! There were so many others. Okay, how many? We're not gonna clerks this. Okay, yeah, got it. Shipping and parasocial aside, yeah, neuroses and everything. Psychology, what is that? I don't know. Should you see this in theaters? If you are a fan of the franchise, I guess, since it was day and date streaming on Peacock, I think this is one of the last streaming sites that still wants to day and date it. Worth it if anything else. You get a good fight with Laurie and Michael at the end. One problem, it was Corey in the mask. Yeah, I guess tying it back to Friday the 13th, they pretty much did a new blood kind of situation with that. Yeah, and no Ben Tramer references, technically speaking. And kills. Yeah, go to Cinema Snob. He did a quick video of the whole thing. Yes, he is former CA Channel Awesome employee. I get it, but it was actually a good review for once, so check it out if you want. Go with discretion that he is a former Channel Awesome employee, and, you know, go with that, I guess. That all being said, the rest of the movie's pretty good. It's just, again, if you're in the theme of, like, aftermath, kind of like how the town feels after the whole tragedy leading up to Michael killing again at the end of the movie, you kind of get the idea, but as somebody who also did a 13 Reasons Why series, yeah, the whole town shouldn't be a character. To some extent, definitely not during kills. I could also totally agree to that, if anything else. Like, just immediately going to hysteria rage right after, like, the events of the first movie. Like, I know they wanted to do it as one big day kind of thing, kind of like a 24 season, but at the same time, and works for streaming, not so much on a theatrical release scale, if anything else. So, the fight. Let's just get this out of the way before we get the final scores. It actually lived up to it. Michael did eventually get the mask back as time went on. He was also, throughout the subplots, was trying to train Corey to be the new him. So, for those who also got Dexter, Whiplash from, like, New Blood, coded my card on that one, it's a lot like that, too. But yeah, ultimately, the kills are still creative. It's still the Akkad family and Michael and every, I guess, rights holder who has Halloween at this point, doing what they do best is do decent horror, style and stuff like that. It's more realistic than even the Rob Zombie movies in some cases, if you could believe that. Just this trilogy alone. And yeah, speaking of 13 Reasons Why, I guess relatability, yeah, Laurie kind of baited, I guess, Corey Michael with a fake suicide, and I'm not gonna lie, it was probably a nice shot at the chin if they actually saw that kind of writing. Again, that's just me overthinking the situation, so hyperfixating on that aside, what did you think of Halloween Ends? Was the fight at the last 20 minutes worth sitting through 90 minutes of basically a town basically goading a guy into being Michael, and yet not paying off at the end? That's a whole big spoiler there. And yeah, final scores. If I had time to do kills when it was new, I might as well do it here. It's definitely a 6 out of 10. It's okay quality-wise, but definitely the themes and the storyline of it is definitely going to get dated as time goes on, hopefully. And yes, it did not help either when the tagline, the crowd of Evil Dies Tonight, became the hugest meme afterwards, so that's kind of understandable. As for ends, you get a definitive Michael kill for a while, if anything, and since this is technically making money, the Akkad family will definitely find a way back to making a Halloween series. I guess for once, try to go, if, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, you're okay with your own, just letting you know now. I guess Season of the Witch shit, try to have, like, anthology-based stuff. I know that's, like, the last thing this entire, horror community needs to hear, like, oh, they're gonna Season of the Witch, but, like, it was a good idea premise-wise. Execution-wise, I think that was always the problem, but, again, looking into the future aside, I guess, Logan, you up to it? Yeah, I'm gonna do the cocoa and glass. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't speak that numbering. Yeah, we got a new mutant language again. It's binary and a lot of other things. And also, Wade found out and he's just like putting porn into it. Yeah, I totally thought it would work. Also, why am I a veggie person? We'll figure it out when we get craving, okay? 5 out of 5. Look, I know it's not the best. Oh, Season was, sorry. 3 out of 5. Look, I know it's not the best out of the 3 of them, but at the same time, it did left on their own terms, so I gotta give it that at least. Also, the Corey fight was pretty weird, and also explaining Michael's healing factor by just happening instead of just sharing trauma and sharing, like, people who accidentally kill people. Yeah, that's how I guess the power transfer works, and, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know if my anime team could go through it, but, I don't know about the hot claws. Yeah, that's still a weird decision. I mean, I know I'm already thinking about my character versus what he could do, Michael-wise, but that's just how I feel. So, lastly, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is good. Like, if you want to see her just hang around a house, hang around trying to move on and realizing it ain't gonna be that easy, as someone who tries to move on after several preventable rampages, it's, yeah, it's kind of hard. I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of relatable if anything else, so... Yeah, 3 out of 5 if nothing else. Allison's subplot being, I guess, the new romantic lead to Corey was weird, and yeah, that first 10 minutes, Virtual wasn't kidding. It started off with a bang. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a good slow burn, but when it hits, it fucking hits. So, oh, and John Carpenter was around for the soundtrack, for what I remembered that Virtual told me, and yeah, it could be worse. Personally, so yeah, Anchor's Retro. Thanks. Anchor's coming up to Confused Me. Wow, you prepped more than usual. To my thoughts on G4's shuttering again. I know. I just want to clarify. It's not all Kevin's fault. It was in character. Long story short, there. It's still totally Comcast. Yada yada yada. You know where I am. And go to Logan here. Okay, so then who is it this time? It's totally Comcast. To his reaction here for the short spoilers, well, I'll probably clarify that and some upcoming Critical Role spoilers for this Thursday. And again, my non-spoiler stuff, so if I get around to seeing Black Adam this weekend. And go to the newly assembled, I guess, writer role, I want to call it here, to my Ryuki driver to sub to my channel to see more content, Halloween and otherwise, I guess, horror movies I like around this time of year. Notification bell down below, and with that all being said, back in character, I'm Retrokid Reviews, and yeah, that was way to end a movie. Definitely not gonna come back if it makes a bunch of money. Right, Universal? Right? Why do you goad them? It just keep happening. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of right, but what if it doesn't work this time? You don't even know that either. Oh, really?